Let's talk about John the Baptist. Hey guys, John here. Welcome to the fabulous John of New Studios. Really excited to be here with you guys today, and I'm drinking my lovely coffee. Thank you very much. Let's talk about John the Baptist, shall we? People ask me all kinds of things, and there's all kinds of stories that have been told about John the Baptist. And what's really interesting is as the New Age folks start creating stories around Jeshua and his life, it seems that everyone's becoming Jeshua's relative. People say that Joseph of Arimathea was his uncle. People say that John the Baptist was his cousin. People, there's just tons and tons of stories that get told around him, and it's really interesting to me, the John the Baptist story. But I have a couple questions that were asked me about John the Baptist. I'm going to use them as the jumping off point for this video. So let me read these two. Well, the first one was, what role played John the Baptist in the teachings? That was a very simple question. And let me just jump into that a little bit. I don't think he played any roles in the teachings. Quite honestly, I believe that he was probably an Essene, and he was probably teaching Essenic doctrines, which is why the whole baptizing in water thing, the Essenes were very much ritualistic bath sect. When you go to Qumran, you find the ritualistic bath chambers. It's very much a part of their belief system. I have no memory of ever baptizing anyone while with Jeshua. Baptism was not something we did. It was not something we leaned into even. But it does come from the Judaic sects. So it didn't seem to fit with what my memories are. So I don't think he really had anything to do with Jeshua's teachings. I think that he was more added in by the Essenes or by whoever was writing the original books to fulfill Judaic prophecies. Now let me jump into this other question, which is even more interesting. Do you think that when John the Baptist was baptizing people, he was actually engaging in bring people to a near-death experience through drowning and then reviving them back to life? This might explain people getting a glimpse through the veil and realizing the truth of an afterlife / heaven. I do not believe that was what was happening at all. I believe that it was, as I said, a ritual bath scenario. In the Judaic sects, the ritualistic bath is cleansing the soul and going back. This concept of drowning them so they have a spiritual experience just does not ring true to me at all. But it's an interesting concept, but I think I don't believe it's in reality what was happening. John the Baptist was when you read the books, he's the voice crying in the wilderness that supposedly, says that, I baptize with water, he baptizes with the Holy Spirit. There's the one, there's the one. As I've said many times, Jeshua avoided the Essenes, especially because they wanted him to become a Messiah. They wanted him to step into that role, become the Messiah, become the king, raise an army, fight Rome. That was their intent, and they really pushed him to do it, and he wouldn't do it. So it comes back to the idea of they had an agenda, especially when they wrote the books. When the books were written, they were written with an agenda in the beginning, and then they were interpreted, misinterpreted, translated, edited throughout 2,000 years. And so anything you read in there now is just it's too muddied and too imperfect to be considered to be infallible. So my thoughts on John is he was probably an somebody in a Judaic sect who believed in ritual baths, and that ritual sect, whether it be the Essenes or some other sect, because there's many different sects, were trying to make Jeshua step into the role. Why would they try to make Jeshua step into that role? He had become a spiritual rock star. He had become known throughout the land. My first memory in regression was people running down the beach to him, and there was a crowd around him. I mean, he was famous for his spirituality, but he never considered himself the Messiah, from my memory. So that's my thought on John the Baptist. I hope that answers your question, and you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.